and we're back with 843 TV at TCL down in Beaufort, and we're going to get to Dr. Cook now, and he is the Director of Continuing Education and Workforce Development.
Right.
That's a mouthful. We're going to share that, but tell us about you.
Well, I am from North Carolina originally, western part of North Carolina, up the mountains. I love sceneries, right? So the mountains now down the coast. So, but began my career in journalism, actually. Went to undergraduate degree at UNC, University of North Carolina. But in the meantime, my career took me to public relations. I was in public relations for a number of years, spokesperson for several state agencies. Met a gal from Indiana. So lived in Indiana for around 18 years and was looking for other opportunities of moving south. And this opportunity arose last year, and a wonderful fit for my background and interests, and here I am. I've been in higher education, though, for around 12 years. Started out as a communication instructor. Very important to have good communication skills,
yes.
right? So started out in terms of a communication instructor, and then really started rolling in administration a few years after that, and had a strong interest in workforce and developing workforce. And at the institute I was at previously had a real strong focus on workforce alignment, if you will. And so I was in that role as vice chancellor for a number of years, and this opportunity arose last year, and here I am now on the coast.
Well, that's a wonderful career. Welcome to Beaufort, because you're now here about 6-8 months.
Right.
So when coming to this school and, coming to a different state and looking at the employment and education, and every state has a different perspective.
They do.
So being here in our Lowcountry, do you find that there's been a really nice relationship between education and employers?
Absolutely. And really their focus is to work alongside employers and try to meet them where they are in terms of their needs, and listening carefully to what their needs are, because each employer has their own needs and demands.
Sure.
Some are more technology focused, others are more maybe maintenance focused, or a lot are safety focused. And so we're really, one of our focuses now is safety training, for instance. So listening carefully to the employers, what their needs are, and working alongside them and building curriculum to meet their needs.
So tell us about some of the employers you are dealing with and networking with, if you can.
Well, they range from small, very small shops to really hundreds, folks that employ hundreds of people. So it ranges in terms of needs. We were working with one partner now on Excel training, for instance, for their teams. We're working with another employer on, again, safety training.
Wait a second. When you say safety training, what does this mean? I mean,
sure,
can you give us, because it's a
lockout, tagout, for instance, being electrical safety. Trenches, because when you dig trenches, you have to have trench boxes, right? And so making sure that certain trenches are safe to operate in when you dig.
Would have never thought that's what you were talking about, right?
Yeah. So it can range from electrical safety to trench safety to fall protection when you're working up high up on a building, for instance.
Do you ever have an employer come to you and say, look, we need this niche, we don't know how to go about it, and you can create a curriculum for them?
Yes.
That happens a lot? Or
well,
how do you put
the focus is really trying to be as flexible as we can and nimble as we can, and to meet the employer's needs. That's why it's so important to listen to what their needs are, but also working alongside the community, because oftentimes we're looking for micro certifications. So building curriculum, but also have the curriculum built in a way that it can be taught in a fairly quick manner, but also quality manner. Right. So there's kind of a balancing act there as well.
There is. I mean, and you have to find the professional staff, the instructors with their expertise to be brought in. So it's really quite a dynamic team, and it's a recipe of how we're going to get there. I think that's really interesting. That we forget about how we're going to create a program, and you have to have your expert instructors as well.
Now, you come to a really hot environment for employers, because as we've been doing these shows over the course of the last 2 years, we've been talking to Beaufort Economic Development Commission and beyond. So we know those employers, those businesses are coming here from internationally speaking, and so the jobs are going to be out there. So that makes your role kind of exciting and lots to do.
It is. It's very exciting. A whole spectrum of services. And really the focus is trying to have, again, curriculum built that folks can come in and take the courses and get out quickly, but at the same time we want to make sure it's a quality curriculum as well.
Yeah.
You mentioned the word team a minute ago, and so it is a team. It's a team effort in terms of both external stakeholders and internal stakeholders working alongside each other to meet what the employer needs are.
So how do you work with the staff then? We've talked to the other departments earlier in our show. And
communication Just trying to
which is your experience,
communicate across units is so important. So you learn with your colleagues, right? You try to have lunch with a colleague or just chat with a colleague, formally or informally. So you work with colleagues and try to build up a lot of networking.
You know, I have a simple question. In all this, how many programs do you offer here at the school?
Well, in my division, we offer just over 60. Oh, wow. But at the same time, some are more robust than others, frankly. One of our largest programs right now was commercial driver license.
What a need for sure with
we
all
have
the
more,
trucking and shortages and
We have more than quadrupled that program in the past 8 or 9 months.
I bet.
The high demand for CDL certifications. And so, commercial driver license. Welding is another one.
Electrician?
We do. We have some of that. We also have certified nursing assistant program, which is high demand. We're working with Beaufort Memorial Hospital with a partnership right now alongside the hospital.
And let's remind people, welders, electricians, those are high-paying jobs coming out of school typically, right?
They
Without the long training that's
needed.
They
do. There's training. There's hours and hours.
A lot of training with regard to those programs. But one of the things that I would share with you is the fact that the demand for both welding and you mentioned CDL also continue to grow. I mean, our welding right now is almost full. I know CDL is full through the remainder of the year.
Oh, wow.
So we're taking folks on the wait list right now for our welding
Good problem to have,
CDL
right?
program.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm really inspired. And this is why I love going out and going to the community. Well, Dr. Cook, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks.
I mean, it's a wealth of knowledge. What do you think, Lisa?
I think it's great. And we want to remind people there's the campus here in Beaufort and over in Bluffton, Hardyville that you can choose from.
That's right. We have 2 locations. So everybody, thanks for joining us. This is 843 TV.
Where communities come to speak.